Welcome to Fat Girls Coping Zoom edition. I'm super excited to have these two ladies with me today to chat. Let me know how they're coping. I actually met both of these ladies in Malaysia at our Fat Girls Traveling Meetup in KL.
Hey.
That was so much fun. It was so nice to meet both of you.
Yep.
And I'm so happy that we have been keeping in touch through our like WhatsApp group chat. And so I just wanted to check in on my booze over in Malaysia and see how everything's going. If you guys want to just introduce yourself to the people, let them know where they can find you, and just let us know how you're coping right now.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sydney. I am something black on Instagram. So basically, I create content that's beauty and fashion related, and I do a lot of body positivity stuff on there as well. So mostly plus size content. So yeah, things have been a little bit crazy in KL just because we have everybody's on lockdown, and today's the first day that they're going to start the military surveillance. So because of that, everybody's a little bit stressed, a little bit like panicky. I'm really sorry about my dog. But yeah, so because of that, I think everybody's just a little bit tense right now. So yeah.
Okay, so my name is Fariza. My Instagram handle is fatcatfar, and yeah, things has been crazy over here. I think part of it is also because people are very stubborn and they don't really follow the order of the government. So we don't call it a lockdown, we call it a movement control order, which means that you can still go out and buy groceries and like do essential stuff. But like for example, there are like certain rules like if you are going out, like only one of the people in a house or from a family can go out and get stuff. So if you're driving in a car and there's like two of you, the police will definitely stop you and ask you why there are two people inside of the car, kind of thing, you know. But like until like the third day or fourth day, you can still see like people going to the park and just like, I mean, if you're going to the groceries, then it's like understandable. But like people are like just like leisurely like going out and like have coffee together or have like family gathering or just go to the park and do stuff. So like, which is why like the army comes in, because things are getting a bit out of hand because people are not listening to the government's order, but also like the numbers of cases are increasing by 100 at least a day, and it has been going up like consistently for a few days now. So I think everyone's just a bit worried about the situation.
Yeah, I think it's the same here, and it's interesting. What are they calling it there? Because here they're calling it shelter in place. It's not technically called a lockdown either. What is it being called there?
Movement control order.
That's interesting. It's like, and here in the US, different states have different names for it. And then now it's obvious that different countries have different names for it. So that is quite interesting. And so, do you guys think? So you're saying that basically the citizens of Malaysia are having a difficult time following the order.
Yeah,
Is that
basically.
is that something that's common, you think? Do you think people generally like follow the rules in Malaysia? Because like that's what we're saying in the US, that like people are so selfish that people are only thinking about themselves, whereas in like China, where it's communist, if they're like stay your ass inside, everybody's like, okay, we're staying inside. But in America, they're like, stay your ass inside, and we're like, but why? Like, it's sunny outside. You know, is that like
Yeah.
similar? You know what I mean? Like, how do you feel that the vibe is in Malaysia compared to the way that we're feeling in America? We feel like it's very just like now it's coming, people are actually starting to wake up and realize that it's serious. But in the beginning, it was very like laissez faire, like, oh, whatever, like that doesn't pertain to me. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
saw all those people at spring break, like
Yeah, yeah,
at the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
bars and in the ocean, partying it up. Like,
I think it's more of a situation where like people are uninformed about it, and because they're ignorant about it, they just think like, oh, it's just another flu. Oh, like I can get away with it. You know what I mean? So I think now people are starting to get more scared because the cases are growing and like there's more information about it now. But I think some people are still like really chill about it. They'll still like go out and like see their friends, go to like their friends' houses and like, you know, whatever. Like you can't go out and party now, but you can still go and see your friends. Nobody's really gonna stop you, you know? So yeah, I think it's
I
just
feel
a
like
matter of
the oh, sorry, yeah, go on.
yeah, it's all right. No, it's all right. Sorry, I was just gonna say I think it's just a matter of people not being informed about, you know, how dire the situation is and not really understanding the weight of the situation, you know?
I feel like I mean, I think in general, Malaysia is pretty laid back as well in terms of like law enforcement for a lot of things. So, for example, you know, like if you get like parking tickets or whatever, like from time to time, the government would just like come out and say like, oh, we have discounts for all this, like come and pay, you know, kind of thing. So like we are used to like not really like road rules and stuff like that. Like a lot of us just like don't follow rules very strictly, and there's like not, you know, enough enforcement with like some of the laws and the rules. So people think that, you know, whatever, like we can get away with this, it's not really that serious. And also like Annette says, it's all, I mean, some of them feel like it's other people and it's not us. But I think as the cases are increasing now, and at first it focuses a lot on in KL and like the other state that is surrounding KL, which is Selangor. But then now, like the number of cases in other states are also increasing, and we had like a death in like a state in Borneo, for example. And so I think people are a bit more scared now. But also like if you go to the grocery store, it's still like just really crowded. And I feel like the government is also not doing a really good job at like informing people about like the seriousness of the situation. When the lockdown or the movement control order first, you know, told by the prime minister, everyone was just so confused. Like when they were like announcing it, like people have so many questions, and it feels like the government were not really ready or prepared when they made the announcement, because there were so many doubts. They were also unsure about a lot of things. But then like the second day or the third day, there was still like an announcement by the government or by the prime minister. And so, you know, there's also that confusion that makes people feel like, oh, this is not very serious, or like I don't understand what's happening, you know. People were not sure, like, can we open the restaurants, like can we go to the restaurant and eat, you know, those kind of things. So people have like a lot of questions as well, and the government hasn't been doing a very good job in like giving away that information. And like when it comes to like the people who have contracted like COVID-19 as well, like at the beginning, like there was quite an information about that, but as the cases increases, they also conceal some of the information. And so people feel like, oh, it's not related to me or stuff like that. But whereas before this, we know the details of the cases, like where is it coming from, and how do they contract it and stuff like that. But whereas right now, we only know like a chunk of like the information, whereas like they have been concealing some of the information. I mean, I don't know. Do you agree with me, Sydney?
Yeah, I think that's true. And I also think like they give very misleading information. Like for example, I think the head of Ministry of Health, right? He literally said
Oh
like,
my
oh,
god,
you just have to drink like warm water and COVID-19 will disappear. It was ridiculous.
that's a
So
minister of health, you know, like, ugh.
yeah,
And because
yeah,
like
and
it's a new government, they sort of like just sort of we call it like a backdoor government, because like they sort of like just took over the government from the previous government without like the people's mandate. So like they're just panicking because they don't also know what they're doing.
yeah.
It's really new. And like we previously, when the first wave happened, we have like a really good health minister. He knows what he's doing. He'll be like addressing the cases daily, and everyone has
Mhm.
been just like looking forward to his address and, you know, updates about like what's happening. Like our minister right now seems like he's not
He has no
really
idea what he's doing.
as
Like no
efficient and
idea.
as
Yeah.
knowledgeable. Like he was
Yeah.
giving like an instruction of how to put on the mask, and he just seemed very clueless. Like he doesn't know how to even like put it on properly, So like yeah, like Simi said, like there's also a lot of like misinformation happening.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. And like for me personally, one of the ways that I was able to kind of like wrap my head around this whole thing, as far as there just like not being a ton of information on it, is that like literally they're learning things daily about this. Like last week, all the information that we had in the States was that basically if you were under 65, you weren't, unless you had a compromised immune system. As of last week, if you were under 65, you didn't really have much to worry about. Now, this week, they're saying there's no age limit. Anyone can get COVID-19. Someone that was 44 years old just died in Louisiana and one of the states here yesterday. He did have a compromised immune system, but basically, for the last couple weeks, our media has been telling us that, like, if you're below a certain age, you don't have to worry about it because all of the cases of people passing up until that point were only people that were older. And now that's changing. And so they don't really know, you know what I mean? If there's an age range, if there's this or that. And up until last week, they thought that if you caught it once, then you would be immune to it. Last week, they found, like, I think 3 people in Japan caught it a second time. So now you can catch it again. There is no, like, built-in immunity from it. And so initially when they said that, that was just a guess. And now over time, the science is proving that, like, the things that they thought would happen with this virus either are or aren't, you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
it just is taking time, and they've only really been studying it for maybe 2 months. On top of that, here in the States, we don't have enough tests. How is everything going with your tests there? Because I know, like, the information that we're reading is that, like, in South Korea, they're testing hundreds of thousands of people per day, while here in the States, we're testing hundreds to maybe 1,000 people in a day. And so how is the testing going there? Because obviously the more testing we get done, the more we can know about the virus. But since our country has been so relaxed with testing, we don't have all the data that we actually could have. How's it going over there with that?
I think like over here, a lot of people are trying to get tested, but a lot of the hospitals don't have the capacity to kind of, do the testing. So, and they charge like a ridiculous amount here if, let's say, you're not going to a government hospital. Because in government hospitals, they have some, but it's very, very, very limited. So a lot of people go to private hospitals, and the price range to getting a test in private hospitals is anywhere from 700 to 950 ringgit. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's really expensive, and the average person usually can't afford it,
Yeah. That
So
would be like 1/5 of my monthly pay or something like that.
yeah, exactly.
Put
And
things in
like it's
perspective.
ridiculous because when people are trying to get tested, literally they go in there and they said that if you have, they will only test you if you have no symptoms. If you're already showing symptoms, then they'll just admit you straight away. Yeah.
Right.
So they're not even gonna test you. They're just gonna admit you, even
Yeah.
even if it's just like you have signs of like the flu or whatever, which is signs of COVID, right? So as long as you show signs, they're just gonna admit you straight away. Yeah.
That's so interesting because it's actually the opposite here. They will not test you here unless you're showing signs.
Mm.
Right. I think
So
like if you have signs here, they would ask you to be quarantined a little bit until
Mm.
the symptoms get worse, then you go again and then get tested. I
Mm.
think the situation here is not as bad as the US.
Mm.
And we've had like people who went to this like religious event that has like 20,000 people, and Malaysians were like 15,000 of them. And we have like some
Ridiculous.
stubborn people who have been hiding at home
Mm.
instead of going to get tested, even though like the government has urged them to go test themselves. So now the police are actually going around to look for all those 15. There are like 4,000 more that hasn't come up to the authority, to the hospital and get tested. So like the police are actually like hunting those 4,000 people down. And like there have been like quite a number of cases of policemen also contracting because of their job, and so people are just, I don't know, like if I'm like one of those people who went, like I would want to get like medical care, right? So I don't understand why people are hiding. It's just strange.
I feel like right now people are like a little more afraid to know if they have it. They're more afraid to know than to not know. You know what I mean? Like they'd rather just have it and not know that they had it, which is really strange.
It's strange. And also like you said about like the age and stuff like that, like we've only had like 5 deaths here in Malaysia. One of them was like a 34-year-old, I think, and he was supposedly healthy. He doesn't really have like any health problems that has limited his like immunity's capability to like deal with stuff and stuff like that. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a bit scary. I feel like I'm also scared because as we all know, like fat people are treated differently when it comes to like healthcare. And at first I was not really, I mean, I work with a lot of people, so my job entails me to like work with a lot of people. And so at first I'm like, okay, I'm okay with this, like i'm I'm not sick or anything. But then I started thinking about like my position as a fat person and how difficult it has been over the years to seek for medical attention. And so that is when I started to actually be really scared, because I feel like I've read a couple of articles, and like some doctors are saying if you're fat, then like it's it's also like a risk factor somehow. So that assumption alone has made like fat people just like someone who's like irresponsible, or like someone who's like bringing this to themselves and stuff like that. So that's really scary as well. Like do you girls like feel the same way, or I don't know?
To be honest, never really thought about it that way. But now that you've brought it up, now I'm scared.
Sorry.
No, it's good because now it keeps us thinking, right? Like it's gonna give us more motivation to be more vigilant about the fact that we have to make sure that we're all healthy and like make sure we're fine.
Yeah, and it's more important we have to like just advocate for ourselves, because I feel like as a fat person sometimes, medical people don't take us as seriously, and they make the reason for everything our fatness. Like, oh, the reason why you're having shortness of breath is because you're overweight, not because you have COVID-19. So that means like if you feel like you're having symptoms and they're not weight related and it wasn't something that you had 14 days ago or 10 days ago, you do have to advocate for yourself and make sure that people are taking you seriously and not just blaming it on your body, and they're not using that as a bias to not take you seriously. Because in the end, I think that for me and for some other fat people that I talk to about it, it's usually that the doctors don't really value our opinion as much and blame everything on our weight.
Yeah. Yep. I went to the doctor like I think 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago, like for my a pain in my tummy. So I have like gastric, and the doctor said, yeah, I mean it's related to your weight. And I'm like, do you mean thin people don't have gastric? Like how is, oh my god. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. So another thing I wanted to talk about, as we were kind of discussing like the stigma of a lot of like size stigma and different things like that, I'm not sure if this has been happening in Malaysia at all, but here in the States, a lot of like celebrities and famous people who do have COVID-19 are like coming out on social media. and they're saying like, hi, my name is this celebrity person and I have COVID-19 and I am going to rest at home and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Do you guys have any people in Malaysia that are coming out and saying that they have COVID-19? And also, like, how do you feel about that? I feel like I don't know. I personally feel like I don't necessarily love that trend of everyone having to like out themselves as like someone that has COVID-19. I feel like there's potentially going to be a stigma related to that, just as there is with like so many other like STDs and different things like that. Not that I think COVID-19 and an STD are like on par, but I do think that something like that could be weaponized against people as someone whose body is weaponized against me all the time. So I don't know if that's just like a trigger for me, but something is not sitting well with me seeing all of these, like, first of all these celebrities getting tested before other people. Like, how the hell are they able to do that? And then second of all, what is this pressure that's telling them that they need to come out on their social media and do a whole press release and let people know that they have coronavirus?
Right.
I feel like it's a bit tone deaf, to be honest, because like you're just showing the world that, oh, like because you're famous, like you get special treatment, you get to sort out your medical stuff first before everybody else. You know what I mean? So I think there is good and bad to it. Like the good is that, oh, okay, yes, like people are getting more informed about it because celebrities are coming out about the situation, about like them being like, oh, like just because I'm a celebrity doesn't mean that I'm immune to it, kind of thing. So you should be careful as well, which is fair enough. But I don't like that pandemics are becoming trends now. Like, why are people making this into a trend? This is not like a fashion statement or something, like this is a real life situation where like, your life is put at risk, you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I
I
need to
think.
process it a little bit more.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Pardon. Can you repeat that, Sini?
No, I said I think I just need to process it a little bit more. But right now it doesn't
Right.
feel like, it's too much of a good thing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Um. I don't think most people are coming out in Malaysia. Like I've seen like a video of this guy who has been discharged from the hospital, and he was just talking about his experience, just to bring awareness to people. So we've had like a member of parliament who contracted it, and like CEO of some company also. But they haven't like, it's not them outing themselves out. It's just like it's become like a talk. But there's this trend of like children of ministers and some like famous people who has gone for a vacation somewhere, and they'll post pictures of their vacation and say like, oh, praying for like all of us and for things to get better. And it's so fucking annoying because obviously you're not really concerned about all these things, right? You just want to show off your vacation picture and how privileged you are compared to other people who are actually dealing with these things. Like you are so remote that you're somewhere else enjoying yourself, and then like saying you're praying for it. Like, girl, just show off and go. Like, it's so annoying.
Yeah, it's like the like when someone is like faking it to like get pity. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, no, girl, you're
Yeah,
not.
like go
Yeah.
transparent. Like, stop.
That's crazy. So what are you girls doing to kind of just like cope with like being in the house? How many days have you been, you know, isolating? And what have you been doing? I've been seeing on your like Instagram stories, but kind of like inform the audience and like how you're passing your time.
So today is day 5 of me being at home with my parents. I think I'm going slightly insane, but that's fine. I've just been kind of so I did something on the first day on my Insta stories, which people really enjoyed. So I've just been keeping up with it, where I show what's for lunch with my new colleagues, which are my parents. So that's been good. But aside from that, I've just been like working. honestly taking a lot of naps because I feel like that's the only way that I can like kind of keep my head like leveled, and then just try not to think about the fact that I can't leave my house. Yeah.
You
So yeah, that's
can
about it.
go to the grocery store if you want.
Yeah, but like I mean, it's not like gonna be a leisurely walk, It's like because I'm
Yeah.
so hyper aware of so I was telling Annette earlier that I went to the pharmacy, and when I went to the pharmacy to go and get conditioner, I was actually like so hyper aware of like the three other people in the store just because like
Yeah.
I didn't want to be too close to them, and like I wanted to make sure like in case like
Yeah.
one of them coughs, like I'm not gonna like get it, you know what I mean? So like just being out at this point in time makes me very very anxious, like to be
Yep.
in like a confined space with a lot of people. So I would rather just stay at home and like lose my sanity over that than like be in a confined space and lose my sanity there.
Yeah.
They actually just started making it so that like if you go to Costco, which is like a big box like warehouse store, they're only letting like 8 to 10 people in at one time so that everyone is having enough space. But that means that people are in line for hours waiting for their turn to get into the store. And so they are trying to take measures to make sure that people are having distance. They're also like making sure that everyone puts their grocery cart in front of them and their a grocery cart like while they're waiting in line, like a grocery cart space between
Right.
each person. And so they are trying to make an effort with that. Hopefully they'll be making an effort with that in Malaysia, in KL. And just for people who are listening who hear us refer to it as KL, that's for Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. No one says the whole thing. And so how are you?
Wait, what was it?
Sorry,
What?
I was saying how are you coping with being stuck in your house?
So my situation is a bit different than Sydney's because I live with a housemate. So I'm not with my family, and I don't wanna. My dad was asking me to go home and stay with them, but I know that they're more at risk, and I've been working with people, so I don't want to take that risk. So I'm staying put in my place. It's not fun at all because I don't get along with my housemate, and I'm supposed to like move by the end of this month, but since we're in lockdown, and we don't know whether it's really ending on on March 31st. So
Awkward.
yeah, I'm staying here indefinitely, and so like when both of us are like in the living room and stuff like that, it's just like so tense. But I have work to do. I've been assigned books to read by my boss, just to like update my knowledge about stuff. And I have online meetings and stuff to do every day as well. So that sort of like keeps me occupied a lot of times. I feel like some of the work that is given to me is a bit more intense than like my day-to-day job as well. So that really keeps me occupied. But I also procrastinate a lot and sleep a lot, like Sydney as well. Like just take naps, like, and a lot of times because it's uncomfortable for me to like use the common area. I'm like in my room, and if I'm in my room, that means I'm on my bed, and how what that leads to, and stuff like that. So, yeah, but it's not really that difficult. I guess like the movement part is a bit of like a struggle because I don't really like doing workouts at home or whatever. So I like moving out, like going out and move. So now I have to like get used to like do things at home, I guess. So that is a bit annoying.
Well, feel free to join me for my stuff. Today I had our first like Fat Girls Traveling dance party, virtual dance
Oh,
party.
oh
We had
yeah.
it here on Zoom and on the Instagram Live, and that was a lot of fun. So definitely going to be doing that a little bit more. I just went into the backyard and like had my speaker and like my little
Yeah.
playlist ready. Your girl was gigging. I was ready. I was hyping people up too. Like I was like, hey, like just if people are like at home dancing, like get it, what? Oh, girl, get it, drop it. You know what
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean? Gotta hype people up out here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
for sure, for
Oh
sure.
my God, I have to join the next one. Oh, yeah.
Definitely, I'll definitely let you ladies know. And
Yeah.
so, super random. I think we're still all single, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
From yeah, we all on that single bus. Has there been, and so you guys are the perfect ladies to answer this question for me. Has there been an uptick in your like online dating stuff? Like I feel like I've been getting so many more like how you doing now that like everybody's at home. Like how's that working for you guys? How's it looking?
So I bought Tinder Gold. So I bought a month's worth, and
Oh.
I've just been playing around with the location a little bit. I'm not quite sure if it's just because I've changed the location or if it's because everybody's under quarantine. But my swipes have been going up quite a lot. My matches have been going up. Yeah. But
Nice.
but yeah. Don't tell anybody that I bought Tinder Gold. Yeah.
You literally just like told the world, I guess.
But it's fine as long I don't know, as long as they keep it to themselves, it's okay.
There's no shame, girl. Get that Tinder Gold. Get them swipes, boo. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. Like, people are messaging me, and people are like, hey, girl, this or that. But, like, in my mind, I'm like, I ain't about to meet up with nobody right now. Shit, what we about to do? Text? 'Cause I
Yeah.
ain't leaving the house. You know what I mean? And I saw one of my friends on Facebook post, like, oh, so we're on quarantine, but are you still seeing your bae? And people are like, yes, girl, I just saw him last night. But he told me that somebody at his work was tested positive. So now he's waiting for his test. I was like,
Oh
girl, no.
God.
The D is not worth it. No. So
No.
I don't know. How are you guys dealing with this? Like, are y'all about to be chilling with Bay? Like, what's good?
No,
No,
sis, I'm about to stay at home.
I've had
Yeah,
like
that's about it.
I've had like fuck boys like
Mm.
texting me again after like few months or like a year not hearing from them, and I'm like, no.
Girl, they
So
came back from the dead and shit. The coronavirus brought them back from the dead.
exactly, and this time they are blocked. I'm
Oh
just
shit.
nope, no, I'm not gonna open any window anymore. Just like get out of my face. Like, oh
I
my god.
realized too that there's been a rise in COVID-19 pickup lines. You know, some of them include if COVID-19 doesn't take you out, can I? You know, one of those.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So yeah, man.
That is nuts. I might use that one though. That's gold right there. Tinder
Yeah, and
gold.
then
No.
somebody wait. Let me read you a message that somebody sent me on Tinder. So he basically was saying like how everybody was just like kind of hoarding all the toilet paper, right? So he goes, we can make a remix of Chris Brown's "Look at Me Now," but it's all about being a mogul because you have stacks of Luro today. And instead of "I'm getting paper," we'll say "I got that paper," and make it rain with the toilet paper instead of dollar bills.
That is so creative. He deserves a response. That is it. Like he got the whole video planned out. Like he deserves a response on that one. That took some
Yeah.
creativity.
Yeah, we were talking for a bit, so he's quite nice, I think.
You're like, he
there's,
might be the one. He might be the one.
there's this one that says like, girl, I'm being careful. The only thing that I'm gonna catch is you, instead of like, oh,
Ooh. Oh my god, that's so
Yeah,
funny.
someone told me like, oh, I'm not gonna catch coronavirus, but I'm gonna catch feelings for you.
oh my god.
Okay,
I was
honestly,
like, I did
catching
not
feelings
respond.
seems like catching feelings is probably worse than catching corona. Let's be 100 about that, okay? Oh my
You're like, I am not ready to catch his feelings. I will take corona.
god.
Oh my goodness. So I'm happy that we are getting some laughs in. I know that helps, the anxiety and the stress and everything. If you could end this call with like just one positive thing that you've gotten from this experience, what would it be?
Why you go first?
What? um, Wait, let me think.
I can
I
go first. I can go
Yeah,
first. And I
go
can
ahead.
just say that for me, this has been a great opportunity just to like reconnect with so many people that I've met in the last year. Like, luckily, like we've been keeping in touch over social media and our group chat, but like we all now have the time to do this video chat right now. And that makes me really happy. I've been able to catch up with a lot of different friends from all over the world and been able to do these kind of like face to face things and then also share it with other women in the community, and it just helps them feel like they're less alone. And so for me, that is definitely the most positive thing that's come from it. And in the whole scheme of things, like this is actually helping me stay focused on something. So then it lessens my anxiety because it's like something for me to focus on, like very detail oriented. And then it's having me make a schedule. Since I'm a freelancer, I don't have that like 9 to 5 schedule and like people that I have to check in with and that kind of stuff. So doing these interviews and doing like fat girl coping Instagram live every morning, those are the things that are making me excited to wake up in the morning.
Mm, yeah.
Nice. um, for me, I think I started to realize that because I've always had like a complicated relationship with my family. And so until recently, I think I've never really wanted to like be with them or whatever. But this thing that happened made me realize that I really wish that I can just be with my family. And this, I don't really feel this way a lot of times, but I was like super worried about my parents. I told them like if they need to do groceries, I can even like drive all the way there and just send it to their door and come back. We don't have to like meet or whatever. Just so that my parents don't contract anything or like lessen like their movement out and stuff like that. And so I realized I it's quite surprising that I feel like, yeah, I'm realizing how much I do care about them and do want to like be with them and stuff like that. And also because I'm an extroverted person, but I spend time with selective people, and it made me feel really clear about who I would wish to be with. Um, like in times like this, like being locked up or whatever, I was like thinking if I have to choose like one person, who would it be, kind of thing. And so made me realize like who matters in my life and who I would like to you know be with if situations like this comes up. And
Well, it's
so
like,
yeah.
why pick one where you can have both of us, right, Sydney? You don't have to
Yeah,
pick one. You can have
both
both.
both of you definitely.
um, Shit. Like, I think for me, probably the biggest thing that I have enjoyed is honestly just being home with my parents. I can't tolerate them for too much for too long, but I do enjoy the company, and I do enjoy like not having to commute to work, spending like 3 hours on the road kind of thing, every day. So I think like that's been really good for me. And I think it's also kind of just helped me to kind of just appreciate like what I have in my house. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense to you? Like, because when you go to work and like you're always going in and out, like you don't really see the details of like what's really there. You know what I mean? You don't really like enjoy your home as much as you should. You know, so like it's good like for me now because I feel like a little bit like claustrophobic in my house. So I'm just trying to find like new spaces to like move around in. So yeah, that's been good. I think it's also a matter of like what Farah said, like just kind of knowing who's really important in your life and like kind of prioritizing like who you really want to spend your time with, who you really want to talk to, and things like that. So I think like for me that's been really good as well. It's just been a clearer kind of cut, I think.
Right.
That's amazing. Those are so many great things, and I agree on so many levels. Like Far, I travel most of the time and I'm on my own most of the time, but I actually did come back and I am at my mom's place and I'm with my family right now, and I definitely am feeling very blessed because otherwise I would be in some foreign country on my own, probably at a hostel without
Yeah.
any really control over who could come or who, you know what I mean? Like when you're in a hostel, if someone checks in, they're sharing the room with you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so
Yeah.
it's nice to kind of have that, but it's also like I'm generally traveling, and so I'm not necessarily, I see my family like maybe once or twice a year. You know what I mean? Just because I'm usually, where y'all at? I'm usually in Asia, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's definitely an adjustment, but it's definitely something that I appreciate because
Mm.
it's nice to be with family, especially in this time of uncertainty.
Yeah.
And it has been nice just to connect with them over that. So I would definitely suggest, if you are comfortable with that Far, you know what I mean? But it sounds like you are making an effort. So that is, that's the first step.
Yeah, because I just went out for groceries like 2 days ago, and I don't know, like I'm just scared. I really just can't imagine like causing that to my parents, and
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think like at the end of this whole thing, I will just go and see them. But right now, I've told them that I'm not gonna go home because of that reason. I was
Yeah.
also reflecting on our privilege of being in our own country, because I would imagine if I'm like somewhere else in a different country, and I'm not rich or whatever. Like if I'm rich, then it's a different ball game altogether. But like if you're just like a regular person living in another country, or if you're like a student, or like you know um if you don't have papers and things like that, medical care is not accessible to you, or medical
Mm.
care is different for you compared to like people like me who's like living in my own country, and how scary that must be, to have that risk around you, while knowing that if you contract it, then chances are you won't be getting um, a medical care as efficient as other people. Yeah,
Yeah,
And
I
so
just
that's true
want
for me because here in the US, we have a horrible healthcare system. And so I don't have health insurance.
right.
And in your country, the government provides health insurance, right? And then you can have like a private insurance that is like better.
I
so
think
we
so,
don't
yeah.
have insurance, but our public healthcare system is very accessible, and
Mm.
it's really cheap. It's like heavily paid by the government, so you only pay like a portion of it. Like if you go for like outpatient care, or to see the doctor for like fever, whatever, you only pay like 1 ringgit, literally. So that's like a quarter, like in the US, kind of thing. So it literally costs
Wow.
nothing. So we do still take some health insurance that we pay monthly. A lot of people do, but that's for like big stuff. Like if, for example, you have to like go for surgery for like some health problems or whatever, then obviously, even though you're paying an amount of like the real cost, it's still gonna be a lot. But
Mm.
in general, yeah, like if you contract this virus, chances are the medical care is taken care of for you, I guess.
Okay, wait, hold on. So I actually have a friend who was traveling during this period of time, and he had just come back from overseas, and he called his insurance company, and the insurance company told him that if you get COVID-19 in Malaysia, yes, it's covered, but if you get it and you contract it overseas and you come back to get tested, it's not covered.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's only covered if you contract it within Malaysia and you like have a contact list of like people who are in Malaysia. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. That's very similar to the way that it is with like travel insurance. Like if I were in a different country, the travel insurance would cover it unless I went into like a category 4 country. But every day the country, like the categories are changing. You know what I mean? So it's like today I could be in a country that's a category 2. Tomorrow I wake up and this country is a category 4. And now if I get it and I'm in a category 4 country, now my insurance won't cover me. Now my travel insurance won't cover me. You know?
Right. Okay.
So that sounds kind of similar to the way that it is with the travel insurance here. But yeah, that is, I don't really know much about insurance. Like I said, I don't have it. Like when I travel, I have travel insurance.
Yeah.
But having like medical insurance in the US is very difficult and expensive and just like a nightmare. So it's nice to hear that you guys have more of a clear cut situation there, but it's so complicated for so many of us here, and that is why so many people are freaking out. Especially like, you know, people that work in healthcare and people with compromised immunity. So it's a difficult time, but I am hoping. Oh, look at the puppies, so cute. Yeah, like cute puppies will bring us all hope, right? Oh,
Yes.
posing for the camera. What's
This is
puppy's name?
Bobo.
Bobo. Hi, Bobo.
Uh,
So cute. Well, is there anything else that you ladies wanted to add before we jump off?
I think just everybody just stay safe, stay at home, wash your hands, wash your butts. Just don't touch anybody, don't touch your face.
yeah. Yeah. And wear protection if you have sex. We can't afford to have
Yes.
too much babies coming out in
Correct. And they will all be Capricorns. Stop it.
You're like, I'm not fucking with those Capricorns.
You're like, no, don't come near me.
My friend was like, I don't want any Quarantinas. She was like coming up with all these names. Yeah, she was like, I don't want Corrine. I don't want no baby Corrine. She was coming up with all these names with like quarantine in it.
I think they call them coronials. I think.
Yeah, I saw something that was like, your baby will be a coronial. I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds horrifying. So that's another reason to not date right now, so you don't have a coronial baby.
Yeah.
Coronial Capricorn baby.
All right, ladies, well, have a great day in Malaysia, in KL. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having
Thank you
us.
for
Have a good
organizing this.
Yeah.
Of course. I appreciate you, and we'll definitely stay in touch. Stay safe, keep those hands washed, and cover your cough with your elbow. Love you.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.